the fact that you're taking a stand like this, but we're destroying everything within a 5-mile radius of the Pentagon, and I don't want anyone hurt.
I'm sorry, Superman, but this is my home, and I'm not budging an inch.
America is finished. I'm afraid you don't have anything left to hit me with.
Actually, we've still got one shell left in our arsenal, Superman. If you think I'm kidding, just take a look at the letter in my inside pocket.
With the greatest respect, Mrs. Luthor, I hardly think a brown manila envelope is going to stop me in my tracks, even if it does have a presidential seal.
What am I doing? Well, they say the pen is mightier than the sword, Lois, so I'm distilling everything Superman hates and fears about himself into a single sentence.
Superman, are you okay?
Oh my God, what have I done? All I wanted was to put an end to all the wars and famines. I only wanted the best for everyone. You've got to believe me.
What the hell was in this letter?
Why don't you just put the whole world in a bottle, Superman?
I'm just as bad as you were, Brainiac. I'm just another alien, bullying a less developed species, and it's morally unjustifiable. Switch off your weapon systems, comrade. We're going home.
But you can't stop now when you're on the brink of utopia, Superman. Denying them perfection is more morally corrupt than enforcing it.
At least leaving them alone means they can make their own mistakes again, comrade. Luthor's right. We weren't born here, and we've no right to interfere.
And that is your final decision? Is there nothing I can say which might change your mind on this matter?
Nothing, Brainiac. Absolutely nothing.
Well, I'm afraid that's just unacceptable, Man of Steel. Did you really think you could reprogram me, little thing? A level 12 intelligence? Did you really think I couldn't outmaneuver those clumsy human fingers? The notion is preposterous.
Help! For God's sake, somebody help him!
I wasn't under your command. You were under mine, Superman. Expanding and consuming country by country, until an entire world ran to my ideals.
What happened to the power?
Cut off by those clumsy human fingers he said he was adept at outmaneuvering, dear Lois. Letting me into the heart of this thing was his first mistake, darling. But the big one was underestimating the resourcefulness of the human mind. Your move, Superman. Nice of you to save the CPU before you squashed him, alien. But will you have the decency to leave Earth now that you realize what a sociological disaster you've been causing?
First, I plan to bury this in the Sea of Tranquility, Luthor. Then we can figure out whether or not I can safely stay behind on planet Earth.
59 seconds to detonation.
What?
57 seconds to detonation.
Oh my God! He must have had a self-destruct mechanism encoded into the hard drive in case something like this ever happened. The 6 mini black holes that were powering his engines have been primed to go off. What are we going to do, Superman?
What do you think, Luthor?
But power on this level being unleashed is going to wipe out everything in a 15 million mile radius. Even you aren't that fast.
Don't count on it, mister.
What's going on? What's he doing?
Something wonderful, Jimmy.
Lex, I know you're not going to hear this message for a while, or even see the explosion until the light reaches you. But there are some things I have to say before I go. Well played, old friend.
Superman gone, Brainiac gone. The world ready to embrace Lutherism even more readily than before. One could almost be forgiven for thinking that this had all been worked out to the 10th decimal point 40 years ago, eh? Checkmate, Superman.
For the first time in human history, The world had tasted death, and so they gloried in their triumph, as excited by Superman's defeat as they were by Brainiac's. Lex Luthor and Jimmy Olsen won a landslide victory in 2004, re-elected to the White House with a staggering 101% of the vote. Freed from Superman's all-seeing eye, the Soviet Empire descended into chaos for a while, until the Batmen reappeared and brought justice to the streets again. Within 6 months, Luthor was running their economy. Within a year, even Moscow had signed up with his global United States. Setting up home in the Winter Palace, he combined his own ideas with notes from the archives, creating a brand new style of government, unlike anything we'd ever seen.
I almost hate to admit it, but Superman and Brainiac actually had some surprisingly good ideas here, boys.
By his 75th birthday, Luthor had retired the conventional politicians and created a one-world government composed of artists, writers, philosophers, and scientists. On the cusp of the 4th millennium, as he lay dying in his cryo-chamber with his dear wife beside him, he was asked by newsbots about his greatest accomplishment.
Defeating the alien, my boy. What in the world could possibly compare with saving my people from Superman?
And, with a smile on his face, Dr. Lex Luthor died. Metropolis was where he was born, and where he asked to be laid to rest in a geometric maze of his own design. I thought for a moment that his widow might recognize me at the funeral. Would she see through the glasses in the dark blue suit of the disguise I created? But much to my surprise, she didn't. Not even for a second.
What's up, Mom? Are you okay?
Fine, Albert. Absolutely fine. I just had the strangest sense of déjà vu for a moment.
In many ways, Superman really did die in the outer reaches of the solar system all those centuries ago. Mankind had evolved to become the most advanced species in the known universe, inspired and led by 1 billion years of the Luthor lineage. Lena Luthor, the artist, Lumbar Luthor, the Imagineer, Lori Luth 145, the Mathemagician, Jordan Luth 1938, pioneering necronaut and the first man to set foot in the afterlife, Alex Al, Jordan Al, Lana Al, and of course Lex Luthor's great-grandson to the power 50, a young man called Jor-Al, whose IQ exceeded that of even his beloved ancestor. But he's been acting strange lately, working too hard and telling the world that our bright red sun that has dimmed my powers and aged my mind is in danger of consuming us. Could he be right, I wonder? Or is this to be the first time in countless years that a Luthor had made a mistake?
What happened, Jor-El? Didn't the Science Council listen to your warnings?
Listen? Those oversatisfied fools didn't even look at my readings. I gave them firm, substantiated evidence that the Earth is on the brink of collapsing into our own sun, and they tell me the planet's merely shifting its orbit. It's almost like they've nothing left to do but die. But I refuse to let their emptiness bring any harm to you, my little Kal-El.
Do we really have to send him so far back, Jor-El? The sun's rays were yellow in those days. Their people weak and primitive. He's going to be so different from everyone.
But he'll be strong. He'll be fast. He'll be virtually indestructible. And he'll need these advantages to survive, my darling. Goodbye, my son. Go back and change the world so that we might not become this cold, complacent lot. Go back and bring a little light into our lives again.